Welcome back to the channel and welcome to my trash opinions on what guns you should be going for right now if you haven't already got a lot of these. I want to talk about some exotics, not all exotics, and then on top of that just some of the legendary weapons that I've been accruing and collecting. But a lot of these weapons I haven't had a chance to use yet just because of just other weapons that I love so much. So a lot of these weapons are theoretically what I want to use. I just haven't got around to making builds around them so far, but we will talk about it, and we will talk about other roles that are potentially better than the ones I got, because I'm not a grinder anymore. I'm not a farmer, so I'm not looking to get all of these top meta god roll guns, but we will talk about what roles you might want to look for. So first and foremost, the exotics. Now, Crimson, last word, in my opinion, two of the better hand cannons in PvP, also Ace of Spades, but I just don't get along with that gun very well. So the last word for me is one of the better weapons that I use in Crucible, especially for trials. Crimson obviously very good because you can heal yourself as you're killing people. Quicksilver Storm, one of the top 15 guns in PvP for me personally. There are other weapons I prefer to use, but this is just still a very good weapon. But it's also very good for PvE with strand builds. It just works and flows pretty nicely. But the king of all weapons you should be going for right now is the Outbreak Perfected. As you can see, I already have 3,614 kills with this weapon since it came out last week. Getting the intrinsic craftable perks is very important. There was too many berries there. But this gun is just a phenomenal PvE weapon, and I actually think it's pretty goddamn good in PvP as well, and I'm probably going to make a live commentary using this. But for me, one of, if not the most fun gun in this game. But there are other exotics that are pretty fun, so let's talk about them too. Over here we have the Polaris Lance, something that I just started using for the 0 hour mission, because at the end where you're fighting the Brig, this, if you've run out of every other ammo type, this is just a lot of fun to use. The way it fires, the sounds it makes, good damage as well. I just feel like this, especially with Scorch builds, very cool, good gun. I don't know how good it's going to be in the final shape, but I think it's definitely worth using now and having fun with it. Now, a lot of these exotics people probably already have, but Sunshot, definitely, if you don't have it or you haven't used it in a while, goddamn, please use it. As you can see, I have 28,000 kills with it. It's all I used in Destiny 2 since Destiny 2 released, but now I'm trying to mix it up with some other guns. So I've had to pull it away because I became too addicted to it, because it's just that goddamn good. I wouldn't be surprised if they nerf it in final shape, to be honest. Graviton Lance, also a very fun gun to use. I don't use it as much because I have the Outbreak Perfected, but the feel of this gun, how it fires, the range, the stability, just the overall exotic perks in cosmology, where you just blow everything up and then black hole, second shot of a burst rips a hole in space and time, doing high damage and recoil with no fall off. You're just going to kill a hell of a lot of enemies with it, and it's a lot of fun to use, and it looks pretty damn cool in my opinion too. I actually do prefer this cosmetic, but anyway, pretty cool gun. Make sure you get it, make sure you use it. Gjallarhorn, the good old Gjallarhorn. You definitely want to get this weapon in general, just because of the simple fact that if you're doing DPS, you will be able to help other rocket launchers do more damage. So if you've not got the proper big meta Apex Predator or any other rocket launcher that's really good in damage, this will be your go-to, and then allow all those other people in your team to get that damage. Also, just one of the most fun guns that's ever existed in Destiny. Just, you know, Wolfpack rounds and killing loads of enemies in just one little blast. It's just fun. Just do it, buy it, have it. But for exotic rocket launchers right now, Dragon's Breath for me is just absolutely king, especially with Scorch builds, and it's just incredible. It's just amazing. With the composite propellant, you will get 5 stacks when you spread Scorch to enemies, and also when you don't have your weapon out for a long time, you'll get ×5 this composite propellant, and this can pretty much one-shot champions. It can one-shot most bosses in this game because I've been using it for everything. It's just an incredibly fun, good weapon, and I'm so happy that they made this really powerful, because it was my favorite gun in Destiny 1, even though it was good in Destiny 1, but it wasn't fantastic on top of everything else. So I'm very happy that they've brought this back, and I don't know how good it's going to be in final shape with all the new changes and stuff, but for right now, if you haven't got this yet and you're working towards it, please do, and get the catalyst, because it just makes everything more fun. It's just a cool weapon. And now we're on to legendary weapons. There's general good legendary weapons that you should be looking for. Craftable, droppable, onslaught, droppable are things you should be looking for, like the mountaintop. Now, a lot of these weapons that you're about to see, I haven't used very much because I just don't have the space for them right now because of other weapons that I'm loving. But the mountaintop here, auto-loading holster, is always good on a mountaintop. I'm not going to waste time in onslaught getting a mountaintop for a weapon that, even though I will use, won't use enough for me to get an absolutely perfect roll. Over here in Vorpal weapon, for me, I can chunk health off when I'm doing solo content, but you probably want recombination here, maybe frenzy. Spike grenades, definitely something you need over here so you can, you know, hit the enemy and it sticks to them. And then quick launch, I think, here. I'm not entirely sure, but, you know, quick launch. And then a velocity masterwork. This allows the bullets to travel faster to the enemy, stick to them, do big damage. But auto-loading holster and Vorpal weapon is good for me, but I think recombination is, or frenzy is probably better here. But I love the mountaintop. I loved it when it was overpowered and broken, but now I want to find a way to use this. But with things like Outbreak Perfected, I'm not getting much chance to use it. Next up, a good solid sidearm in my opinion is the Sunuda SI6, and I think you just get this from gunsmith drops, from just random things. I got this in a Legend Lost Sector, and for me, Envious Assassin, so every time you get a whole bunch of kills and you reload, you get an overflow of bullets, and Golden Tricorn. This for add clear up, in my opinion, is incredible. Now, I've only been using this in Legend Lost Sectors to kill barrier champions, but the amount of fun that I've had with this weapon, every time I use it, there's audible noises that come from me when I'm like, oh my god, this is incredible. I don't care too much about what's here. It's a sidearm at the end of the day. If you're going to use this in PvP, you obviously want a bit more range, but there's probably even better perks. But I just love this weapon. I think it's a really cool, easy to get sidearm that you should be looking to get. Next up, the Rang Hild D. You get this for free, I believe, as a pattern. And I solely just made a 1-2 punch build for my Titan. So if you need a 1-2 punch shotgun, there are better ones out there. But if you don't want to grind for it, this is the setup that you want for a Rang Hild D. 1-2 punch, auto-loading holster, accurized rounds, full choke so that you can hit all those bullets onto an enemy before you punch them, and boss spec as well. So I feel like if you need a 1-2 punch weapon, and I think you should have it just in case they get broken or really good, you can't be bothered to grind for one, this is the easiest way to get one. I have been loving it on my Titan, and I just genuinely think, you know, it's just a really good solid gun to get if you don't want to get an absolutely perfect god rolled amazing shotgun. Next up, we have the Hung Jury. Now, before Outbreak Perfected came out, this is my go-to weapon, and it has explosive payload and kinetic tremors. So for PvE, you can just murder ads with this. You can just hit them in the chest wherever you want, and you'll just activate kinetic tremors to do damage to them and nearby targets, and also explosive payload because you're hitting them, doing damage to them, but also anything that's close will also do damage. So you're just doing incredible amounts of damage all over the place. Again, these perks, not too crazy, like you don't need to worry about it if you're making a PvE weapon. Range, unfortunately, I just dropped with it. I don't even know what else I'd want, and I just put backup mag on it so that I can get those kinetic tremors to proc more often. Now, kinetic tremors comes in really good for another weapon that you should be grinding as well, and that's the blast furnace. But let's have another look at the Hung Jury that I got as well, which I'm very excited to try using, and that is precision instrument. So sustained damage increases precision damage, and shoot to loot. Now, I'm not a big fan of shoot to loot. I don't think it's an incredible weapon, but with a gun like the Hung Jury, if you're doing range from damage, you're creating orbs, you got ammo drop in, I'll be able to shoot it from where I am and not get too close. So I'm definitely going to try this out, and I feel like it could be a really good weapon. Obviously, you get the Hung Jury, the mountaintop from Onslaught, and Blast Furnace. While we're talking about it, this is my other favorite primary weapon gun before Outbreak Perfected come out, and that's with kinetic tremors and firefly. So very similar to the Hung Jury, you're going to be doing a lot of damage in a lot of area of effect, but because this is a 4-burst fire, the kinetic tremors, in my opinion, just often every single burst, once you've got it procced, every single burst will proc another one, and you're constantly just doing area of effect damage to everything around you. Again, these perks, in my opinion, not too important when it comes to PvE, but I just think it's a phenomenal weapon, and one that everyone should be going for if you want a PvE solid weapon. Now we have the Messenger Adept. Now, I got this last night and I love it, but it sucks in trials in my opinions. However, I do think it's going to be incredible in 6v6 just because of the perks that come with it, and there's not too much focus on like dialing in on a set enemy. You could just shoot from range, you know, hit people, third party them. And with rapid hits, which is just great on any kind of pulse rifle, and either keep away or Desperado, I think got a nerf, so it's not as good, but if you do get it to proc and you do hit it, you're going to be doing a lot of damage very quickly because the rounds per minute go up. But I think keep away overall is probably a generally better perk if you're going to be shooting from range. And then obviously adept targeting, again, probably need better perks here like accurized and, you know, things that increase range. But I am no way, shape or form going to grind for this weapon anymore because Trials is awful. I'm very happy I got this. And obviously the Messenger itself, not the Adept version, still works the exact same, just that the Adept's a little bit better. So, you know, look out for rapid hits and keep away or Desperado, in my opinion. And there's probably better roles. So let me know down below what your perfect Messenger role is. The only thing I don't like about this is the recoil direction. But once you get used to it, I think it's going to be incredible. So those are the primaries. Now let's look at the secondaries. First and foremost, the Amit AR2. This weapon in Crucible is utterly phenomenal. Not the best gun in the game, but if you just want to try something different, have a unique gameplay style instead of all of these same old weapons, having this auto rifle, in my opinion, is phenomenal. Now, you can craft this once you've got enough red borders, and I think it just drops generally from the game as you're playing, you know, the gunsmith and stuff. Tap the trigger, dynamic sway reduction, high caliber rounds, hammer forged rifling, and throw on a target adjuster. This gun is so stable. It's just so much fun to use. Now, I've just put the Crucible tracker on last night because I wasn't really looking at it, but I've got 167 enemies tracked, and I believe that tracks PvP. But phenomenal weapon, absolutely love it. If you don't have this yet, work towards it and craft it because it could become incredible when the final shape comes out, especially if they maybe might buff auto rifles. Please buff auto rifles. I love this weapon. One of my new favorite PvP roles. I use this alongside Last Word and I just feel like I'm unstoppable sometimes. Another great craftable weapon is the Scalar Potential. Now, you get this from the current season, the Wish, whatever it's called, the Wish one where Riven is. And if you can get crafted to have Head Seeker and Keep Away with steady rounds, fluted barrel, stuff for stability, basically, this fires like an absolute laser. Now, there's probably little tweaks here and there you could go, probably a little couple of perks that you might change to. But in my opinion, of all the weapons that I've had, of all the roles, of this weapon that I've had, this is by far the best role that I've had. So make sure you find this, get the red borders for it, craft it, because I think it's going to be a devastating weapon, especially if you've got a good arc build. Another craftable weapon, the Come to Pass. Now, Golden Tricorn and Perpetual Motion with accurized arrowhead and a targeting adjuster. I just feel like this is a really, really good, fun PvE weapon. I've loved it when I started using it, but then obviously other weapons came out. I just feel like if you're going to find a weapon that you like to use in your secondary slot and you don't want to farm for absolute god rolls, get red borders for this weapon and craft it, and I guarantee you'll fall in love with it because it just feels so nice to fire. There's just like the recoil direction obviously is 100. It just feels incredible. It's just a very, very cool, fun gun in my opinion. Igneous Hammer. Heel clip, precision instrument with ricochet rounds. Probably could do with a little bit of reload speed on certain things. Arrowhead break, why have I not got that? Well, anyway, so for me, I haven't tried this yet, but I think this could be an exceptional PvE weapon because you're doing that damage with precision instrument and then you're going to heal every time you reload. So I just feel like this could be an exceptional weapon to have. There's obviously very, very good igneous PvP roles, and those roles are going to change. I haven't had too much experience with the Igneous Hammer, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing what this does in terms of PvE. However, I do have a great PvE role that everyone should be looking for, and that's the Luna's Howl. This is my go-to secondary weapon. Now, heal clips on this as well. I just use Encore because I like seeing all the stats in the bottom left pile up, but heal clip obviously heals you every time, you know, you're reloading after dealing final blows. Incandescent on this weapon makes it a mini sunshot. So obviously you spread scorch to other enemies. It does like a little bit of damage when it explodes. It's just a phenomenal ad clearing weapon, and it saves you an exotic slot for you to use an exotic somewhere else. I use Outbreak Prime and this, or Outbreak Perfected, sorry, and this, and I just feel like I'm unstoppable in any PvE mode. So yeah, very, very cool weapon. Heal clip or whatever you want here, but incandescent, very, very important for this Luna's Howl. So much fun. Definitely get it and try it out. For PvP, Eye of the Storm, Precision Instrument. This is going to give you your stability. I mean, your control. I guess it really is stability, but it's going to, you know, your weapon becomes more accurate and boosts handling as your health gets lower. So I guess it's kind of like stability. But however, you are going to be when you're getting shot in the face, this is going to keep your gun solid and still. A Precision Instrument increases the damage every time you hit a precision shot. So it's still a 3-hit kill, but let's say someone's slightly injured, it's a 2-hit kill, and then you're ready to go for the next engagement if you've still got Precision Instrument running, and you're going to do more damage on those first couple of shots. Definitely better rolls than this. I just love this because I'm not a big Luna's Howl fan. I just don't like the feel of it. However, in my opinion, this is a very, very good roll for people who aren't very good with the weapon. The other roll that you're probably looking for, Heal Clip and Magnificent Howl. Now, Magnificent Howl, I think, puts the first shot after reload up to 124. So it is a 2-shot kill. And Heal Clip, obviously, every time you kill someone and you reload to get that Magnificent Howl, you're going to heal yourself. Now, you want things like Accurized and Ricochet and stuff, things that improve range. I've just got really unlucky with my drops. But I just don't care too much about being absolutely perfectly God rolled for PvP because I don't care that much about PvP. So I just look at these two perks when I look at weapons. However, for me, Luna's Howl, these two are my two favorite rolls and the best rolls for me. So Forbearance, another weapon I haven't used yet just because I have too much love for other weapons. But for me, I love the idea of Demolitionist and Chain Reaction because I just feel like they play well with each other. So each final blow, you know, blows up other enemies, and then kills with this weapon generate grenade energy, and grenade energy reloads it. But obviously also Envious Assassin is very, very good here. I just haven't got lucky enough to have that drop yet. So Envious Assassin and Chain Reaction is probably the God roll. I'm very excited to try this out over the next couple of days on my Warlock with Sunbracers, because obviously that's all about grenades, and I would just be able to just blow everything up, throw grenades everywhere, and just annihilate enemies. So I'm very, very happy about this role. But Envious Assassin, always the better choice when it comes to these types of grenade launchers. The Recluse. So the one you get from, you know, just doing the game and completing the quest, the Feeding Frenzy and Master of Arms and Ricochet rounds, pretty goddamn good, and in my opinion, definitely worth getting. However, there is another Recluse that I have with Feeding Frenzy and Surrounded. So for PvE, when you're getting surrounded by a whole bunch of mobs, this just becomes absolutely phenomenal. Again, haven't had much chance to use it because there are other incredible weapons, but for me, these are the two perks you want to look for on the Recluse, and then obviously with a bit of a better choice over here than what I have. Range Masterwork, not needed in PvE, so probably stability, but you know, range helps as well. So yeah, for me, incredible PvE weapon. Now, one of the weapons that you might not be using or even know about is the Briar's Love. Now, you get this from Witch's Engrams, and I tried this out in PvP, and I could not get used to it. The game modes are so fast that this gun can't keep up, in my opinion. People who are really good with it, probably going to be exceptional at PvP. But for PvE, which I've been using it for, I actually really do love it. Precision Instrument, obviously you're going to hit precision shots you're aiming to with a scout rifle anyway. Rapid hit increases stability and reload speed. So from range, these two are just going to work together like gold. Accurized rounds and a range masterwork. I can pick off enemies from so far away with this weapon when it comes to PvE that I just find it to be so much fun. Again, I've got better weapons to use, but when I do use this with a Void build, I just feel unstoppable. It just feels so cool to use, and I'm very happy that I had this drop randomly from a Witch's Engram when I was doing the seasonal stuff to catch up on things, and I just love it. I think it's a really fun scout rifle. So, Hammerhead from Onslaught. Well, all these are pretty much from Onslaught, but I have one here, Rampage and Desperate Measures. Really fun for ad clear up when it comes to PvE. I just find it to be so easy to use, can do so much damage and wipe out so many enemies so quick. So, you know, there are other things you can use here, obviously, but when it comes to the hammerhead, I'm not going to grind for a better roll than this for PvE. The one that you get from the quest line is also really good, especially for boss damage, because you've got 4 times the charm and killing tally. So you kill a few enemies and then you fire into the precision areas of whatever boss you're fighting, and you'll keep getting ammo back as you're going. Throw a backup mag on it so you've got extra ammo anyway. You're just going to do a lot of damage very quickly. So the one that comes with the quest, definitely fun to use, but the one that I have here, Rampage Desperate Measures, just is incredible for me. Weapon final blows grant bonus damage, and obviously Rampage grants increased damage too. So you're just gonna be stacking it up and doing a lot of kills and a lot of ad clearance with this weapon. So the edge transit, pretty good now, but I just have one for ad clearing, which explosive lights, which when you pick up orbs of power, which I had a built around orbs of power, and then chain reaction explosive light together, doing more damage, more blast radius, and also then exploding into killing other enemies. Definitely a lot of fun. But the one I think everyone should be using when you're doing big damage is spike grenades, auto loading holster, and bait and switch. I haven't had a chance to use this yet because I'm not in teams of 6s doing big boss damage, but I think when I start trying to get into do raids and stuff, this is probably going to be the weapon that I use for damage during damage phase. So very, very excited to try that. So work on your edge transits and just get them going. There are probably other more powerful grenade launchers. I know that the Cataphract is pretty good as well. I do have bait and switch on this, but field prep is terrible. So Cataphract from Trials, I don't know what the god roll is for that because I've literally just found out about the weapon last night when I got it from the weekly challenge, but I did read that it's really good for damage. I might be wrong about that. So these 2 edge transits, in my opinion, a lot of fun. Ad clearing, boss damage. And then the Doomed Petitioner. So this is a craftable weapon. You could obviously work towards getting the red borders for this. It's like a free round burst fire. I don't know what I'm saying. Precision instrument, reconstruction. So the weapon reloads itself and improve rate over time up to double capacity. So you don't, your weapon just keeps bringing ammo back. And then precision instrument to do significantly more damage. Each hit that you do in one burst improves the precision damage. So definitely it's probably not the most powerful OP damage weapon, but for me, when I was doing solo content, this came in very useful on certain bosses until I got the Dragon's Breath, and then it became useless. But if you don't want to use an exotic weapon in your 3rd slot, your heavy slot, this is a great weapon to have, in my opinion, as a backup. Unfortunately, I just love Dragon's Breath way too much. So these are just some of the weapons you should be looking forward to. I'm not an expert on this stuff, but from my experience of returning to the game, not having much weapons, finding new weapons and using them, these have all become some of my most used weapons in certain ways, and just some of the most fun that I've had with weapons too. And there probably are a lot of other weapons that I should be looking out for. So let me know down below in the comments what your favorite weapons are, what your off-meta weapons are, what your meta weapons are, your god rolls. Let me know down below and I'll probably chase a few if I like the sounds of them. So that, in my opinion, is just some weapons you should be looking forward to in Destiny right now, working towards before the final shape. That's it. Thank you for watching. I've been easynow. You guys have been awesome.